you the most interest, you want to get rid of it as fast as possible. You're losing money on it fast. And then once that's paid off, well, then there's money that you were sending to that debt that's now freed up. Now you can start sending it to the next one. And you're not going to miss it because you're not going to care if you're sending $100 to Visa and $100 to MasterCard, and then the next month you're sending $200 to MasterCard. It's still the same amount of money you're paying. You're just writing a different check to a different person. And doing things like that is really going to cause the payments to snowball and save you a fortune. So here we've got our highest interest plan set up. We're going to hit go. Remember, $67,000 is what we paid, and it took us until 2028 to get everything paid off. This report I did not cash in advance because I'm reasonably confident that it's going to complete quickly enough during the time that I'm talking. While it's chugging along, it's finished already. It needs to do a little final processing, but total interest paid is $13,114, and all debts are paid off on August 1st, 2013. That saves, so using this strategy here, you're out of debt in 4 years, and you only pay $13,000. So it saved you $54,000 and 16 years of your life. Now, one of the things that we get grief about from time to time is somebody decides that they're going to be funny and say, oh, well, how are you going to get out of debt if you're spending money and buying the software? And this is how you're going to do it, because Debtinator is so powerful in its calculations and doing what it does that, I mean, you're going to pretty quickly have a pretty good return on your investment. I mean, yeah, you have to pay your nominal fee to purchase the tool, but if you're spending a small amount on a shareware fee and the return that you're getting, if you were this example person, you'd get back $54,000 in 16 years of your life. That's a pretty good return. And here to very clearly show what this is looking like, we're going to include nothing here, and then we're just going to look at our mortgage. Remember, the mortgage was the thing that took forever to pay off last time. It was very small increments going down. You can see, look at how quickly it drops this time, because it's finding the additional money that you were just tossing to the bank or or throwing away and wasting as you were going along. Instead, it's putting it towards your mortgage, and it's going down quickly. Now, if you look at it closely, you'll notice that it's dropping by different increments every month. It's not going down in the same smooth fashion that it was previously. That's because Debtinator is very smart in what it does, and it factors in things that will recur infrequently. So, for example, we set up our expenses that we've got our property tax due once a year and our auto insurance due every 6 months. It takes that into account. It doesn't send too much to your mortgage so that you can't pay your auto insurance or can't pay your property tax. It always keeps aside enough money for you. So that means that as it's going on through the course of the year, it's going to be sending slightly varying amounts. But that's okay, because that's ensuring that you're not going to accrue more debt on your credit card by needing to charge a debt that you weren't expecting. The additional options that are on this screen here are you can choose to run something until a particular date. Usually it just runs until it's complete, and honestly, we recommend that you do that. If you stop something early, it may not have properly accounted for something that happens in the future. But if you want to run something beyond the date that it would complete to see how much money you'll have in the bank, you can feel free. The next is a checkbox to pay things out of order when possible. What that does is it uses the knowledge of, it says, look, when you've got your credit card down to $100 on it, it'd be really kind of nice to just pay it off right now instead of worrying about sending $25 minimum payments to it for the next 6 months. So this lets you do that. It says, okay, if I can pay something off right now, if I've got the money to do it, I'll just do it and get rid of it. It's going to cost you a little bit more money because it's already focusing on paying something else. So this is already out of order with the strategy, but it's going to knock it out for you. So it may make you feel better. It'll just be at the expense of a little bit of additional interest. If you want to use it, great. If you don't want to use it, that's fine too. You'll recall on the expenses and debt screens, you had the option to map those events to the most recent payday. Instead of doing that on an individual basis, you can also come over here to the scenario screen and choose to map everything all at once. That way, it doesn't matter what you set on the other screens; it just sets everything to it. Now, the important thing here is to play around with it. Try the different scenarios. See which one works best. It's probably going to be the highest interest plan, but it might not. If something else works better, use that one. You may want to try paying things off out of order when possible. You may not. You may like how it works. You may not. You may want to map things to paydays. You may not. Um, you may run this and it'll give you a very scary prompt and say you've run out of money. And it'll say you're out of money in 2011 or whatever. And that's a bad thing because that means that no matter what it did, it couldn't figure out a way to keep you going past 2011. But don't panic. You've got time. It's still telling you years in advance, this is a problem that you need to deal with. So you have a chance to deal with it. That's where you can go back to your expenses and dial them down a little bit, or maybe put a little bit less money into savings, or make adjustments to compensate, to keep you going, or if you need to, you can know that 3 years from now you will have to charge something onto your credit card, and that and you can adjust your finances to reflect that. You can set your expense to pay from the credit card, and that's a little bit more interest that you end up paying in Debtinator, but you'll still have a plan. At the end of it, you'll still come up with a scenario that's going to get your debts paid off and get them paid off more quickly, and that's the important thing. We're not tied to any strategy. We're not tied to any lifestyle. Do what works for you. Play with the data until you come up with something that works. And thank you very much for listening, and look forward to seeing you here next time.